Morning guys, welcome to day 4. Yep, it's hot. Florida summertime, garage project, maybe not the best idea. But today is going to be a lot of menial tasks for me. I'm going to take a lot of the temporary bracing I put in to hold the boat in place while we're getting epoxy set where we glued everything together, which this stuff is getting really solid. I got to take all that out, and I need to take the transom out and epoxy the 2 pieces of plywood together for that. And we might even do some total boat epoxy on this non-marine grade plywood to get it completely coated in the areas that are going to be harder to reach when we flip the boat over. Speaking of flipping, I was concerned if you just look at it at how heavy it looks. But the great thing is, looks are deceiving. This boat, that's half of the boat weight. That's about 50 pounds. So we're looking at still under 100 pounds, which is way under what a John boat would be. And this is not a John boat, this is a micro bass boat. That's gonna be stable side to side, it's gonna have lots of compartments in it. So I'm excited about the weight. I was getting concerned, but no, it looks like it's gonna be fine. Anyway, let's get going. Y'all stick around. Day 4. Taking all the temporary bracing and the drywall screws out to get this boat to somewhat closer to a finished product. This is where I'm laying up my 3 times the 5 mil ply. So what I'm going to wind up with is a 15 mil 9 ply epoxy bonded strut that's permanently in the shape of the bow curve. In the area where we're coming out of the flat of the main keel in the beginning of the curve into the bow, I've added a 4th ply because that's what's going to contact the boat ramp and the shoreline when you pull it up, just to give it a little more strength. I removed the transom that I temporarily screwed in and separated the 2 pieces of plywood, 1/2 and 3/4, and prepared it for epoxy. Okay. It's time for some epoxy. Never used this stuff before, so I'm a little apprehensive. The one thing the instructions did say is, since I have this Group B slow hardener size, this is a 5-to-1, so it's 1 pump and 1 pump. They automatically measure for you. Except I'm supposed to shorten for a Group B size container this pump by 4.5 inches. So let's see how we can do that. Alright, so the long point of the angle is right there. Okay. Now we need to cut it at an angle. So it doesn't stick to the bottom. Oh, that was easy enough. So the next thing we're doing is we're going to install these in the containers. Well, what I'm supposed to do now is prime the pumps, pushing very slowly till I get the air out. Time to mix up some epoxy. Let's give this a whirl. Alright, I've trimmed my spout for my Group B size. I've installed the extender on the pump for the resin part. Now it's just 5-to-1 mix, which these pumpers automatically do the mixing for you. And this is a slow hardener, but I'm in 90+ degree weather. I don't think there's going to be any slow about the set on this. What I'm going to do is, I've already wiped down the 2 pieces of my transom. I'm going to mix a small amount because I don't know how far this stuff's going to go. And then I'm going to add a thickening agent, which is these white glass microspheres, to thicken up the epoxy to fill the pores. So we'll see how this goes. Supposed to mix it for 2 minutes, 1 to 2 minutes. It's turning an opaque white. Looks like the epoxy that I use for the rod building. Got a love bug in it, but he's permanent now. It is love bug season here in Florida. Alright, that's about a minute. Now I'm going to add these micro spheres in, being very careful not to breathe them in. Probably should be wearing a mask, but it's going to be tough to talk to you guys wearing a mask. Okay, well, total mix time for me was about 10 minutes because that was the first time I've ever done it. It's a little concerned. Next time it'll go faster, I'm sure. I've separated my 2 halves of my transom. I got a 1/2 inch and a 3/4 inch piece of ply. They're not pressure treated or marine grade plywood, so I'm going to coat this really well. I got the thickening agent in it to fill all the holes. I put some cardboard down on top of my workbench so I don't accidentally glue my transom down to the workbench if I get some spillage, which is likely. And I've got it to a consistency now to where it's not a paste, not really even a gel, but it is thicker than water. So we'll see how that goes. Y'all stick around. Now for the moment of truth, we're going to flip them over and screw them down together. Well, that's going to be it for day 4. We've got this main struts for the bow glued up and in place. I've got them held temporarily with the drywall screws. Same thing with the transom. Got it epoxied together, so I now have a 3/4 and a 1/2 epoxy together. That should hold any motor that I dare put on it. We let this cure overnight, and when we come back for day 5, we're going to be putting 1 more longitudinal brace down the side and start hanging some skin. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.